There are places I have gone where you would have thought a certain candidate is very strong, and you reach there and you're shocked at how open the place is. And I would say others, I mean, some places, but I don't want to disrespect any candidate, but a place where you go and say, here we have no chance, but anyway, the calendar says I'm supposed to be here, so let me be here. And the next thing you know, you actually have the chance to sweep a place.
Are there places that you've gone to and you feel like, nah, this is not my place?
Not quite any yet, but I know there will be some.
There will be some
where I go to, and where I will know that here I'm just here to fill the roll call, but maybe I'm not going to do too much. There will be some, but not yet.
Okay, then let's look into where you're actually going to be tomorrow, because tomorrow you are looking forward to being in Luwero, where General Mugisha Muntu today was. Now, in Luwero, 55.8% went the NRM candidate. Remember that this is where the Bush war started. And they have been having a number of issues, Akasimo and what, but regardless of all those number of issues, they still voted the NRM candidate, who is the incumbent now. And Kizza Besigye got 41.5%. How are you going to address the issues of Luwero? Let me put Luwero, Nakaseke. Okay, let's first address Luwero. I'm going to bring in Nakaseke in just a bit.
Of course, the thing is this one is going to go down considerably, because there's a lot of anger in Luwero right now. Over,
that anger has been there since 1996.
No, the thing about it is lies catch up with you. I think he's told so many lies to those people about things which he was supposed to do, and so many others, okay? You go to northern Uganda, he's telling about restocking their cattle in Lango, in Teso, and they have listened to that music for so long. Now they are not interested. And that's the thing. 25 years ago, they might have listened to him and said, let's give him one last chance. They are not going to. That is the same thing with, and then also, what's going to cut into this, of course, is NUP, because there's somebody from, the central who is standing, and the fact that Besigye got this big a percentage, I believe, shows something about how Museveni, in spite of this being his spiritual home, has kind of lost a lot of support there. But now it's replaced Besigye with somebody from Buganda. And what is going to happen, not necessarily that he will take all of it, but this shrinks considerably, because it's going to be cut in by NUP, most likely, but also some other candidates like myself. Okay. I believe I have a lot of,
my question to you is, what is your message to the people of Luwero? What are you going to preach to them tomorrow? Because it is very specific to them. You cannot, for example, get the message from Masaka and preach it to Luwero. It's very specific to the people of Luwero. You know how how far they have come.
There are some things which actually can cut across. For instance, farming and how land grabbing, which is a very big issue in Buganda region, and so many other regions, Busoga as well, Bunyoro as well. Land grabbing and farming and poverty, really poverty.
That's your message tomorrow.
That's the message, and that is my message generally. But then, of course, there is one tailored for Luwero, which I'll give tomorrow.
Okay, is 200,000 voters really a deal for you? Because that's the. You see, they voted actually bigger than Kampala. Kampala got 50% turnout, but Luwero got 63% turnout. But Kampala got 50% of 1 million, which is about 500,000. But Luwero got 63% of 200,000 as voter turnout. Is it such a big deal for you?
You have to go there, because 200,000 is a lot of votes. You might not get all of them. You definitely, of course, will not get all of them, that's for sure. But then you keep on fighting there. And then there is a message. People like people for different reasons, you understand?
Yeah.
You go there is a day for it. You go there, regardless of how many you get of the 200,000, you move on and go to the next place. It might not be your strongest place, but if you can go eating away at different places, then you pile up,
Okay, let's look at Nakaseke. Nakaseke now, we know that there's a little bit of NRM and surprisingly DP, because that's where the Honorable Tamagus comes from.
Not surprisingly.
no, it is, because all the constituencies there actually, most in the Luwero Triangle are NRM dominated, but then he's the only DP candidate there. So look at that, 76.2%. And we hear that actually there is a strong NRM candidate coming through. He's going to run for Member of Parliament. I think he's the husband of the NRM National Treasurer, Rose Namayanja. So he's going to come through to that vote to make sure that it takes off the DP. So look at that, 76.2%.
This is big, but then it's also going to shrink, because here is it. Of course, Honorable Tamaguzi has also gravitated towards NUP a bit, away from DP. But he's a strong candidate in that place. And he's been very, very vociferously anti-government. But the thing is, regardless of, you have to understand this, Canary. People will vote an NRM candidate, but that doesn't mean they are going to vote Museveni. Because people vote individuals. There are people, and at that level of Member of Parliament, People, have helped people in the communities, have done this and that. So there are people who, regardless of which party he came from.
I agree, but there are districts, but that actually defeat what you're actually trying to say.
Of course they are.
Because like Kasese, now Kasese has 6 constituencies that all of them voted FDC, and you can see that they gave the vote to FDC.
Yes, they did. But you have to ask yourself a question. Were they voting necessarily FDC, or were they voting change of government?
Okay,
I think it's more or less change of government. So that means that there is an opportunity there for other opposition politicians.
Okay, let's lastly go to Mityana. Mityana overwhelmingly voted for the NRM, 62.3%. But there is a new breed of young people. Joyce Bagala from the National Unity Platform. There is Francis Zake, who has been on the campaign trail with the Robert Chagulanyi National Unity Platform still. But then there is the Minister of ICT, Judith Nawakoba. How are you going to go about this vote? It is sort of split between NUP and...
Yes, it is. I think, of course, NUP is going to get a very huge chunk. Forget about 62% of Museveni. That's not going to happen. NUP is going to take a huge chunk of it. But then again...
Is that Kabuleta giving away 144,000 plus votes?
No. As I said, but then again, you make inroads. I know that there are going to be places. You have to be realistic, you understand? But then also, you have to go and make inroads into places where you apparently are not that strong. And you never know what you find there. And I've actually, as I've told you, I found that out. That there are places where you think I have no chance, then you realize you have a very big chance, then you even concentrate there, and you leave the place with so many supporters and so many people who are willing to, go on the campaign trail for you. So, as I said, I know it's going to be a strong, Mityana is going to be strong for you.
And there was a very huge turnout of the voters, 71%. But lastly, what is your message to the people of Mityana as you go there tomorrow? What specifically are you going to preach to them?
Financial liberation, how they can get rich through things like farming, but also generally that place through minerals which are being personalized, which belong to the country, and through them getting a share of what actually comes out of that place. Because there are a lot of wealth that comes out of that place. Yeah. And I believe that people should be, the people from the place from which the wealth comes should be getting a share of it. And that's the thing about the people of Mityana. They can also become rich, apart from other things we talk about, also through minerals, which nobody is talking about, because somehow that conversation has been taken away, because even in the minds of people, even opposition politicians, they kind of believe that that wealth belongs to that one family. But that's the thinking I want to change and make people know that it's national wealth, and I will make it national wealth when I become president.
Presidential candidate Joseph Kabuleta Kiza is going to be traversing the country, looking into places of Luwero, Nakasongola, Nakaseke, and later on Mityana. That is the day tomorrow. But well, wish you all the best, and thanks for making time to speak to us. Up next is NBS Live at 9.
Joseph Kabuleta, his strategy on combing the very heart of the NRM, that is Luwero, Nakasongola, and that, the whole NRM struggle, it seems to be very strong there. But it was a great, interesting conversation that you had, Canary.
I think it's always good to look at the statistics to understand where you're coming from, the background, how the people vote there, what influences the vote, so then you can know how to tackle it.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening.
Are you sure we'll be saying that after January 15th?
I am absolutely sure. And by all the statistics you showed me, I have them at the back of my fingertips. Really? I studied all that. I have everything. I can tell you percentages. I know. I have it all here. I'm doing a very intellectual campaign, by the way.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thank you, Canary. Thank you so much for the coverage. Mabel, it's time for Live at 9.
Well, amidst all the campaigning, the big question is the cost of temptation going to rise, because the Christmas season is beckoning. So what the probably people are asking is, how expensive or cheap is the bribe that you're going to be tempted to take ahead of the festive season?
Interesting.
The anti-corruption unit is saying you shouldn't be taking any bribes.
I hope that Ugandans can take heed of that. But Mabel, I think the biggest story for me in tonight's bulletin is that the scientists have not been sleeping. They'll soon begin clinical trials for the COVID-19 tests. Welcome aboard NBS Live at 9. My name is Solomon Serwanja.
And my name is Mabel Chegumiezake. Top stories.
Up next, brought to you by Ford Raptor. Available with up to 90% financing with Ford Finance, supported by Stanbic Bank. Raptor, no boundaries. Up next.